Hi, welcome to Law Lines Behind the Attorney. I'm David Schnerman. Today with us we have Deborah Renner, who is the lead of the class action group in New York's Baker Hostetler. She's also the founder of Baker Hostetler's Class Action Law Defense blog, as well as she runs her own blog called Renner's Class Actions, as well as a huge bio here that we can kind of go through. You can tell us sort of who you are. Deborah is a partner, and before she was at Baker Hostetler, she was at Sun and Shine for 12 years, and so what the purpose of this segment is for those people who are either other attorneys, law students, people thinking about getting a law, or just your family and friends, they want to understand who you are and how you got to where you are today. And so that's a big topic, so I'm going to try to get it down to a couple questions. Do you have any hobbies or personal interests that sort of that you've always loved to do, that sort of make you unique or different, that you would love to share with somebody?
Well, truthfully, I love to write.
Okay. That's an important hobby?
That was really what drove me through high school and college, and later on, I became, litigator, because in the beginning, as you know, writing is so important in litigation. So loving to write really, really mattered, and I love to teach. I started life as a doctoral student in poli-sci, and the attraction there was not just political science, but it was also the ability to teach. So all of that kind of came together for me in the law, because I can teach adjunct, I can do it on Law Line, and I can practice, which I love doing. What
are some of the challenges that general counsel face now? And as look what just happened with Sony.
Right.
There's a lot to protect. Not only be a lawyer, but also to be a business person. You got to think on both sides.
Right.
What are some of the challenges you found that they're facing on a daily basis?
Well, on a daily basis, there are a lot of meritless lawsuits being filed in the class action context, particularly. That's not new, but it's one of those things that one would hope would have been curbed by now somewhat, particularly in the given CAFA and other legislation that's been passed. But a lot of meritless lawsuits and a lot of dollars spent getting rid of them. Discovery also is now more complicated than it's ever been because of e-discovery, and it's expensive.
When you look to the next 10 to 15 years of your career, do you see any technologies sort of shifting in your area that's helping you in your daily practice? Is there anything that your firm uses more than you did 10 years ago, whether it's in e-discovery or it's in law firm management or other areas that you see sort of trending right now?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that kind of I'm happy about and also sad about at the same time, and that's legal research. When I was coming up through law school and as a young attorney, I used to go sit in the library and think and kind of look at different books and treatises and think about the legal issue that was presented. Now, because legal research is all online, you don't have people really thinking about an issue in that same way. And a lot of times we find young lawyers who are more like hunters and gatherers. They go out, they find what they're supposed to find, they gather it, they throw it into a memo and they give it to you without a whole lot of analysis or thought.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a shame. And I think there must be a way to kind of still have the same sort of deep analysis with the benefit of being able to find the information more readily. But I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind
that
of,
actually is
like
a great
I said,
answer.
the good
Absolutely.
and the bad.
I mean, there's Lexis and Westlaw have owned that for years, and now there's a lot of more low-cost options that are out there.
Right.
That make it more available. Google Scholar being free, but it doesn't jeopardize. So there's certainly, you got to know what you're doing, or you can just put the wrong information in there. As you look to sort of your experience, this is a self-serving question.
Okay.
With Law Line. Your firm, Baker Hostetler, has done a whole curriculum with us. You've taught courses with us. What is, and not just with Law Line, teaching CLEs, but what is, how has this worked for you? What are some of the positive the benefits, and what are some of the things you might want to recommend to others, in terms of your experience, in terms of teaching CLE and sharing your knowledge?
Well, as I was talking about, I think analysis is really, really important, and it's what I see lacking among a lot of young lawyers nowadays. And I think, one way to understand that you really have to analyze something and be able to explain it is to have to teach it. So I'd love to see, and as you know, on Law Line, we've invited a number of our younger lawyers to join us on these programs, and they really give an analysis of what a case means. And I think that's wonderful.
And the way I look at it, it's a win-win-win, because teaching is the best form of learning. Secondly, you're teaching somebody who's learning it. And third, you're getting exposure and showing yourself as an expert on the best platform for continuing education. Well, thank you for sharing. And thank you. This is off the cuff, and I asked you some good questions, and you answered them on the fly. Deborah, really nice to meet you, and nice to learn more about sort of your background and what makes you tick. And
Thanks,
thank you
David.
for watching Behind the Lawyer.